I've been on a real rice bowl kick as of late, and that continued this week with these chili lemon rice bowls. They've got yogurt marinated chicken thighs, peppers, onions, shredded cabbage, and rice for a lower calorie, high volume meal prep dish that can be great for weight loss. Now, it needs to be noted, no one meal will cause you to lose weight. It's about your relationship to energy balance over time. But having meals like this with a decent dose of protein and lots of volume can help keep you fuller for longer without being too calorically dense. Here's how you make it. Start off by getting your rice going. In this meal, we're going to use 3 cups or 450 grams of rice, which will be between 1 and 1.5 cups of dry rice, depending on what type of rice you use and the method you use to prepare it. I use medium or long grain white rice in a rice cooker just about any time I make rice. Next, you can make the marinade for your chicken. I'm a big fan of yogurt marinades as they are great for easily transporting flavors onto meats. Place a large bowl over a scale and add to it 2/3 of a cup or 150 grams of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of onion powder, 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of chili powder, 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt, and 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of lemon juice. Give that a sturdy mix so that all the seasonings and lemon juice are evenly mixed into the yogurt. Then to the bowl, you can add 2 pounds or 908 grams of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. If you wish, you can trim away any excess fat and skin away from the chicken. To be honest with you, this is one of my least favorite cooking chores, and I skip it anytime I can. I found that different brands of chicken have more or less fat still attached, and Costco chicken is usually the best. Make it work with what you got, and if you want to skip this step, I'm sure as hell not going to blame you. Next, get in that bowl with your hands and coat the chicken with the yogurt marinade. Spread it across all the surfaces, in the cracks, and in any folds. Let it know you're the boss. This chicken can be cooked in the air fryer or the oven. I would prefer it in the air fryer if it was big enough to fit it all at once, but mine isn't, and I'm not going to wait for one batch to finish and then have to do another afterwards. That takes too much time, and quite frankly, the principle of it annoys me. So I'm going to use the bake and broil method like you've seen here on this channel in the past. Once the chicken is ready to go, line a large sheet pan with foil to prepare for the oven. It can be easy to scorch the marinade onto the pan under the broiler so the foil protects it. The last thing I want to do is scrub this pan for 25 minutes standing over the sink, and I know you don't want to do that either, so put the foil down. Next, lightly spray the pan with some oil. Place those chicken thighs onto the pan smooth side down. All of those jagged edges on the underside of the chicken are opportunities to create lots of good browning, and that means extra flavor. Move the pan into the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 204 Celsius for 10 to 12 minutes. We'll come back to this in a bit to finish off the broiling, but in the meantime, let's chop our vegetables. You'll need 1 small onion or 125 grams worth that you cut into a large dice. Next, you're going to take 2 medium-sized bell peppers of any color and cut those into a large dice to match the size of your onions. I used 1 green bell pepper and 1 yellow bell pepper just for some color variation, but the macronutritional differences between the colors of peppers is negligible. Optionally, you can cut 1 chili pepper into a small dice if you want this dish to have a little extra kick. I'm going to use one of these red chilies that aren't very hot. A jalapeno or a serrano are also good choices. Another optional addition would be toppings for the final dish. I'm going to finish each meal with some cilantro and chopped tomato, so I'm roughly chopping about 1/4 of a cup or 20 grams of cilantro and dicing up 1 small tomato or 50 grams worth. Before I chop the tomato, I remove the seeds from the center to keep things from getting too watery. At some point around this time, your chicken will be ready to go under the broiler, so move it to the top shelf if it's not already there and turn the oven to broil. Keep a close eye on it as it will be prone to burning. After 3 to 5 minutes, or when you are happy with the level of browning on the thighs, you can remove the pan from the oven and allow the chicken to rest. When you're ready to cook the vegetables, heat a large skillet over medium heat and add in 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of oil. Then toss in 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of chili powder and 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of onion powder and allow the spices to bloom for about 30 seconds in the oil. Next, you can add another tablespoon or 15 grams of oil and dump in your peppers and onions. Stir these into the spices and cook for a few minutes to allow them to soften. Seasoning the pan lightly at the early stage will help these peppers and onions cook a little bit faster. After they've been going for a couple of minutes, add in 12 ounces or 340 grams of shredded cabbage. I just buy a bag of coleslaw mix at the store so I don't have to do any extra work. You can also throw in 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of minced garlic to mix that in as well. Shredded cabbage is one of my favorite tricks to add volume to meals during dieting phases. It's almost calorie free and can help add some serious bulk to your meals and help them feel bigger. Next, pour in 8 ounces or 227 grams of tomato sauce. Just a little fly for people outside of the US. Canned tomato sauce here is tomato puree with some water and spices added. It is definitely not ketchup or pasta sauce. Passata would be a fine substitute if you can find that where you live. Mix that into the pan and allow the raw tomato flavor to cook out as it boils for a few minutes. Once it has reduced a bit, add in 3 cups or 450 grams of cooked rice. Stir the rice into the mix so that it gets fully coated with the tomato sauce and allow the pan to continue cooking over medium-low heat while you take care of the chicken. Transfer the chicken thighs over to a cutting board and cut them into a large dice. This chicken has awesome flavor and it can fit into so many different meals. One thing I'll do occasionally when I meal prep is double or triple the amount of chicken I make. Then after I chop it all up, I'll freeze the excess and use it for easy access to protein when I want a quick meal or snack. After you've got the chicken chopped up, head back to your skillet with the rice and vegetables and give it a stir. Pour in 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of lemon juice and salt and pepper to taste. Then dump in all of the chopped chicken, stir to combine, and taste test. Adjust any flavors as needed with more salt, pepper, or lemon juice to fit your liking. This recipe is written to make 5 servings, so lay out 5 of your meal prep containers and divide the contents of the skillet evenly between each of the containers. These will last for up to 5 days in the fridge, and I would recommend freezing them if you wanted them to last any longer than that. Top each dish with a bit of chopped cilantro and tomatoes, and they are finished. Each serving of these chili lemon rice bowls has about 473 calories with 44 grams of protein, making them a nice lower calorie meal perfect for if you are trying to watch your energy intake. Allow the meals to cool down before you go tossing on any lids. If you cover them too soon while they're still hot, it will create condensation within the container from the steam, and that will lead to sogginess in the food and earlier spoilage. Both things no es bueno. Now for reheating. I actually tested this one in the freezer, and I may be coming around to the idea of storing many of my meals in the freezer after I make them. Freezer space is what is currently keeping me from doing that though. If you're going to reheat meals straight from the freezer and you use glass containers, it may be necessary for you to transfer over to a different plate just to be safe and prevent your containers from cracking. Going from cold to hot that quickly could cause some problems. I ended up microwaving this one straight from the freezer for about 2.5 minutes. If you watched last week's video, I had very briefly talked about microwave cooking where I had mentioned that microwaves cook fruit from the inside out, and I wanted to clear some stuff up because that's not necessarily 100% correct. What I was trying to get at was that microwaves don't work like a regular oven or a stove does where a hot surface or hot air touches the outside of the food and heats it that way. Microwave ovens work by shooting microwaves at the food, which then penetrate the surface and excite the water molecules inside, thus leading to molecular friction, which then heats up your food. So it's possible that the waves can reach the center of your food if it's cut small enough, or that heat generated from the friction will transfer to other areas of the food via conduction. The microwaves don't automatically go to the center of your food and heat outwards, but they do penetrate your food and can heat both outwards and inwards via conduction. If you want to give this meal a go, you can find the full written version of the recipe on my website, which I have linked in the description below. I would consider this to be a good meal to help with weight loss, but remember, no one meal in itself will lead to weight loss or weight gain for that matter. Making body composition changes is about your relationship to energy balance over time. Hope you guys enjoy this one if you try it. See you next week.